Hey everyone, it's JetStream10 here, and welcome to my first digital speed paint. So, I recently discovered that QuickTime Player on MacBooks actually has a screen recorder. So now I can record my digital art. I have actually been doing digital art since December of 2016. I got a Huion tablet for Christmas, and I've been working on improving my digital art ever since. And if you guys have seen my Instagram, then you will know that I do a lot of it. The thing is, I didn't know how I could make a video. I didn't know how to record the screen. I didn't know any screen recorders, and I just didn't know how to do it. So I was just like, you know what? I'm not going to be able to do digital speed paints. Maybe someday I'll find out. And I did. I found out that QuickTime Player has a screen recorder, which is great, because now we're going to be doing lots more digital speed paints on this channel, because it's so much fun to record, and it's just really cool. I had so much fun. And so this program that I'm using to draw is Autodesk Sketchbook, not the full version, because I can't pay for the full version, but the free one is just great, so I really recommend it for anybody who has a Mac. I don't know if it's on Windows either, as well, but I don't know, you'd have to check. But I use it on a Mac, and it works great for me. So today I am drawing Spider-Man because, first of all, he is such a cool superhero, such a great comic book character. And also, I love Marvel. Marvel is super awesome. And also, I recently watched Spider-Man Homecoming. That movie was so awesome. Good job, Marvel. So, as you can see, I started off with the sketching portion. I started with a grayish blue background and sketched with a white pencil tool. And I used the loop tool a lot at this point. You could see me adjusting the distance between the knees and the foot and the arms, because I really needed to get the proportions right. I have to get them right. You have to get the proportions right at the beginning, because later on, I mean, in digital art it's a lot easier, but usually it's hard to fix proportional mistakes unless you do it at the very beginning. And I spent a lot of time sketching to get those proportions right. And I used a lot of reference, as you can see a little bit on the side. I tried to remove it because copyright reasons, but I couldn't get rid of the side. I got rid of as much of the reference part as I could, but I didn't want to cut out the actual drawing portion. So that's why you can still see a little bit of the reference on the side. So, as I just said, I used so much reference in this drawing. Every few minutes, I would scroll through Google, looking at dozens of photos and studying them as much as I could. So, I saw the proportions, structure, color, and so on, and I couldn't have made this piece without reference. Unless I had photographic memory, which I don't. Oh, also I watched Spider-Man Homecoming twice in theaters. Maybe that helped a little bit. Not sure. Have I mentioned how great this movie is yet? So, I would have actually left that footage of me scrolling through all of Google, but then again, copyright infringement and stuff, and I don't want to get in trouble for copyright, even though, like, there's a couple of images that you can see on the right, but I'm trying, okay? I'm trying to get rid of the photos, but I can't. I just don't know how to blur them out. And also, if I had kept all that stuff in, half the video would have been me scrolling through Google, and this video would have been way too long, and it's pretty long already, so yeah. So I have already zoomed through that coloring process, and now we're at the line art. And at this moment, undo and erase is your best friend. Honestly, I redrew so many lines. So many. I just can't count. And so many. And if I had $1 for every time I click that button, I could afford maybe Final Cut Pro or something, you know. I could afford something expensive. But just so you know, line art, especially in digital art, takes patience. This is because you have the ability to undo any mistakes that you've done. So you are trying to get everything right, and you undo so many times just until you get it right. So you need the patience to actually be able to undo and undo and undo and undo over and over again until you get the right line that you are happy with. But trust me, it pays off in the end. It really does. And also, I was redrawing a lot at this point because I was finding mistakes that I had done earlier on in the drawing. So, which is good because you're training your eye to see the mistakes, and if you see the mistakes, then you are able to fix them, which is good because I want this to look good in the end. So, fixing mistakes is good to help me improve. And so at this point, I am drawing hands. Yes, at least almost every artist, or every artist that I know's worst nightmare. The hands. Hands are really hard to draw. Like, I draw so many of them, and sometimes I just hide them because I'm really tired and I just want to sketch something. But I pushed myself here. I really looked at lots of photos of Spidey's hands, trying to get them right, and I'm so happy that I did because I'm really happy with how these hands turned out. Obviously, you can't see how they are yet, but I looked at reference and you can see that they actually turned out quite good. But at this point, you can see that I'm really struggling with those hands, redrawing them over and over again. Are you surprised? And so I just kept going back and looking at those reference photos to get them right. So here you see me going in, redrawing more lines again. And so, that is almost finished. Well, that hand's finished, but I'm still going back, redrawing more lines. I'll save you the painful details of the next hand. So, yeah, let's move on. Okay, yeah, now the hands are done. I'm just adjusting them, again, using that loop tool. I need to make the hands a little bit bigger because they looked a bit too small, so I made them bigger, again, for proportions. And here you can see that there is a pretty big jump. Yeah, I kind of forgot to press record when I started drawing again because I took a pause, came back a couple of days later, and I forgot to press record, so, yeah. Sorry about that, but you didn't miss too much, so whatever, it's fine. Just a little bit of shading. And at this point, I'm still adding shading, so you can see how I do it. So here you can see me doing the feet again. I redrew those multiple times, many different times, off camera when I forgot to press record, and then here you can see me going again and drawing them more and more because I really wanted to get the feet right. And also, I really wanted to convey that Spidey's left foot, so looking at from Spidey's perspective, his left foot was farther back than his right foot, so I spent a lot of time working on it to make the left foot look farther back than the right foot. Again, Spidey's left, not our left. And here, after I blocked in the shadows, I used the I think it's called the smudge web brush to gradient the shadows out. I think that's how you say it, to blend out the shadows and make them look really smooth. But I didn't smudge the shadows on the blue part of the suit because I really wanted that part of the suit to look kind of shiny, if you know what I mean. That it's a more maybe shiny or silky material than the red part of the suit is made out of. I don't know, I just want it to look shiny because when I looked at different comics and different pictures and different animated series as well, the blue part was of the suit was pretty shiny. So now I was drawing the web pattern on the suit, and I think that drawing that pattern is where I redrew the most lines. Because first of all, I wasn't getting them right. Second of all, I think it was, oh, just there, yep, I realized I drew them on the wrong layer, so I erased them and had to draw them all over again, because I really did not want to draw them on the coloring layer. I needed to draw them on the line art layer so that I could continue and go back into the coloring without messing up everything. And then I'm drawing the little webs going around, and that's really hard. So it took me a couple of tries, as you can see here, to make it look right. But eventually, I got it, and I was happy with it, so that's good. Now you can see me going into the chest, and I was just adding a couple details before doing the web, and I realized, you know what? I don't like how that spider thing's looking out, so I've got to redo the whole thing. So I went in, and I thought, you know, I'm just going to change the legs, make them look better. And then I realized that the whole thing was wrong. So I was just going in, fixing all the stuff, redrawing, and redrawing, and redrawing, still redrawing those legs because I could not get them right. Then I realized that's because the little spider's body wasn't long enough, so I had to fix that as well. But after all of that redrawing and redrawing and redrawing, I eventually ended up with something that I really liked. So that's cool, because I remember that maybe like a couple of years ago, I think I tried to draw him once, and I could not get the web thing right. I couldn't get the spider right. And so I'm just really proud of myself, because I know that I've improved and that I am now at a level that I'm able to draw that part of Spidey's suit. Now again, redrawing more lines, trying to do the web pattern on his chest part of the suit. So I really wanted the spacing between each line right, so that's why I redrew it so many times. And so here you can see me again, keep drawing more lines of the webbing and stuff. And also I really had to study the shape of those lines and how they curved to give a more 3D effect and make the shapes look as if they're actually curved. So like that, it makes them more round and more, again, a more 3D effect comes across. I also really paid attention to the shape of which the lines were going in, because whether they were curving upwards or downwards, because I really didn't know. So I looked again more reference photos for this, super helpful, and was able to figure it out. And by the end, I was able to see in which way they curved. So now I'm adding some final details to the suit, some extra little things just to bring the whole suit together, and make Spidey look a bit more finished. Here, as you can see, I'm using some more reference to get those little extra details right. So I wasn't actually going for a super realistic effect. I wanted to get, you know, that scene in Spider-Man Homecoming with the fairy that you see in the trailer? I wanted to get that, but with a comic book style, very stylized, with still realistic proportions, but still stylized coloring, just the way that it's colored, and with the thick line art, just to make it look a bit more comic book style, because that's really what I was going for in this piece. If you guys want to see a more realistic drawing that I did of Spider-Man, however, if you check out my Instagram, there is a traditional drawing that I did of him, I think maybe a month and a half ago. You can check that out, and because that one was more realistic, that's what I was going for. And by this point, I finally realized that the eyes look kind of weird. I mean, they didn't look too weird, but they weren't what I was going for. I really wanted to show expression in Spidey's eyes, because you can't see the rest of Spidey's face. You can't see his eyebrows, how they're curving. You can't see his mouth. You can't see his nose. So you can't see how the rest of the face is. You can't see any expression there because of the mask. So I really wanted those eyes to look like he was struggling to keep those webs together, to keep the thing from falling apart. So that is, I ended up happy with the eyes in the end, and I'm glad that I went back and fixed them, even though it was farther into the piece. So that's what I love about digital art, is that you can always go back and keep doing more and adding more stuff to the art. Now here I'm adding some of the final highlights. I wanted the suit to look a little bit more lighter near the highlighted areas, so you can see me adding those with the airbrush tool there. And obviously I added some highlights on the blue part of the suit, but those were a bit more straight. So here I'm drawing the webs, and it took me a while to actually realize that I was drawing the webs into Spidey's knuckles, and I don't know why I drew them like that. I was really confused. So now it looks like that Spidey's webs come out of his knuckles. Yeah, I don't know how I got that, but then finally I was going to go into some detail, and I was just like, wait a minute, how's he holding the webs? So I just drew them again, and I'm really happy how it came out that time. So now it actually looks like he's gripping and holding onto the web. I also wanted the webs to be really tightly wrapped around his wrist to really show like they were tight and pulling hard, and again to add to the pose and show that he's really struggling to keep those webs together. And I had so much fun drawing those details in the webs, because you don't have to be exact. You can be really loose. You can just draw a bunch of curves, and I think it looks really nice. I love how the artists in comic books get the webs to look, and it's really cool, really fun to just play around and make them look how I want. And yeah, we are pretty much reaching the end of this video. Personally, I'm really proud of this piece, and I'm also super excited to be able to do digital speed paints now. And I hope that you guys are excited as I am. I also hope that you guys enjoyed this video, and maybe might leave a like or share with your friends. And also, if you guys want to see more, then don't forget to subscribe to the channel, that you can see when I post more digital speed paints and stuff. It's really easy, just click the button. But you don't have to if you don't want to. I mean, I'm not like forcing you guys to subscribe or anything. I mean, it's only if you want to. Well, anyway guys, that's it from me. I hope that you all have a wonderful day, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!